What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G.S. Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network as well as on the USA Network, as today we're talking Season 2, Episode 5 of Miz and Mrs., entitled Driving Miz Crazy. We kick off the episode with Maurice talking about wanting to do a magical photo shoot, angel wings and all. Miz isn't really on board with it. He doesn't really get it. But she wants to do it with the whole family, herself, Miz, Monroe, and she's pregnant now, so she wants to technically do it with the second baby as well. Meanwhile, Miz is going crazy. He's extremely frustrated on this episode. First, his frustration stemmed from not being able to find a manila folder, which Maurice has no idea what that is. She has no idea what he's talking about when he mentions a manila folder. And I guess in the folder has all their important documents in it, including their car registration, and he needs it because he has to go get a new California license plate on his car. While he's there, he goes to get the car serviced, and they have popcorn at the car place, and he goes to get some, and he spills it, so he brushes it under the rug, and it's so obvious that there's something under the rug. But that's what anyone would do, right? It's such a dumb thing to do as opposed to throwing it out or apologizing or telling the guy who works there. No, he just brushes it under the rug, literally brushes it under the rug. But anyway, so while he's there and getting the car serviced, he's told by the guy that the check engine light went on and that he has to drive it because I guess it's a new car. And I'm not really overly familiar with this type of stuff, but I guess because it's a new car, he has to drive 100 miles to prove that the car has been repaired before he can go pass emissions, because otherwise he won't pass emissions. Meanwhile, they are, doing a play photo shoot, so to speak, at the house with Monroe, and Monroe, I guess, does not smile at all whenever the phone is out. Whenever she sees that iPhone pop out from Miz and Maurice, from her mom or dad, she does not smile. It's one of those type of things. I feel like a lot of kids nowadays do that, where they see that, that phone or camera or whatever, and they just, I feel like that's always been a thing. It's not really a new thing with the iPhone. But once you see that camera, you don't act natural, and kids are no different. So anyway, Miz has to go put 100 miles on the car, and he gets in the car and realizes that his mom's dolls are in the back of the car. They just so happen to be there. Why? I have no idea. Why they would have been there now as opposed to earlier on in the episode, I have no idea. But it was obviously staged to set up the next part of this episode, where he's in LA traffic, and that's an absolute nightmare, and he needs to get these 100 miles quickly before the photo shoot later on in the day. So he takes one of the dolls from the back seat and puts it in the front seat so he can go in the HOV lane. And he's thinking that he's the smartest guy in the world. Oh, I can get in the HOV lane. And for those unfamiliar, which I kind of was a little bit, you have to have at least, I think it may differ on the state, I believe, but you have to have at least 2 or 3 different people in that HOV lane. If you're going to drive in it, you have to have multiple people in the car, not just one passenger, or maybe one passenger works. I guess it did a little later on in the episode when he brought in Margeau to help him out so he can go in the HOV lane. But because he has the doll there, a cop noticed it, and he gets pulled over as a result. And the cop explains, listen, you need at least 2 or 3 people in the car with you. And he asked for the car registration, and there was no issue there. So, because if there was, then he would have been arrested, I would assume. So I guess he found the car registration earlier on in the episode, and we just didn't know about it. But this was obviously staged. Well, first of all, the cop's face is blurred out, which is, as it makes sense. Like, if it wasn't, that would mean it was more staged and whatnot. So it would make sense for the cop's face to be blurred out. But he asks Miz for an autograph. Not a wrestling autograph, but his signature on a piece of paper. I have never heard that before. Maybe I've never been pulled over, so that's why. But, I've never heard that where anyone would go, hey, I need your autograph on this, as opposed to I need your signature. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But he asks for an autograph, and Miz thinks he's talking about an actual autograph, and the cop clarifies, yeah, no, I actually need your signature on this, and Miz is embarrassed. That was a scripted line. I thought that was a little silly. But like I said, he gets Margeau, he picks up Margeau so he can go in the HOV lane, no issue there. He has 80 miles to go, and he drives the whole thing. But the drawback to it is that he has to listen to all of her boring stories. And she gets frustrated. She has a headache because he's not listening to any of her boring stories. Meanwhile, Maurice is getting really, really anxious, waiting for Miz to show up with the angel wings, which he had to pick up from some warehouse or something. But before he goes there, he goes to bring the car to get looked at another car shop. And the guy that works there is hitting on Margeau. He has like a French accent too, French-Canadian accent. So, anyway, so he finds out while he's there, I guess the car did not pass the smog test because I guess there was something wrong with the hubcap, but like wherever you put your gas. I'm such an idiot that the term is blanking on me right now. I'm blanking on it for some reason. But like he has to, that cap I guess was off for some reason, or it wasn't tightly secured or whatever. So as a result of that, the 100 miles that he did previously didn't even matter. He has to go do another 100 miles, hopefully, before he can maybe get passed for the smog test. To say that Miz's frustration levels were through the roof at this point would be an understatement. So, meanwhile, Maurice is getting really, really pissed over at the photo shoot. Miz knows this because he's trying to scramble to get there, but he thought he could do the smog thing and the car test before he can get there because he doesn't have much time off. This would be the time to do it, and he can't get it done. She's killing time while waiting for the wing. She's doing all these other random photo shoots and whatnot. Miz, on his way there with Margeau, the car runs out of gas because he thinks he can make it, and he can't. And the photo shoot is on the top of a hill, which he doesn't realize until he's like halfway up the hill. So he's like freaking out, and he runs out of breath. He leaves Margeau at the car. I don't know who's at the car. The car is in the middle of the hill. Margeau was there. She took an Uber. She recommended an Uber to Miz. He said that wouldn't be, that would take too long. She gets there before he does because she took an Uber to the top. She does not pick him up because why would she? I mean, the Miz abandoned him. He abandoned her at the car in the middle of the hill. So the car is still sitting there for all we know. Anyway, so she gets there before he does. Margeau explains to Maurice and everyone else at the photo shoot, listen, this is what happened. He gets there soon after, all sweaty with the wings. He looks like an idiot running up the hill with the wings on his back. But he finally gets there, and he has like feathers on his head. He's super sweaty. He gets all cleaned up. They do the photo shoot. Miz loves it. He finally gets Maurice's vision, like, oh, I can get why she would want to do this. It looks beautiful, blah, blah, blah. But in the end, they cannot get Monroe to smile. They try to make her laugh and all this other stuff. It's just not working. So he said the best photo they took all day was actually one that did not have Monroe smiling in it at all, which is kind of funny. But that was it for Season 2, Episode 5 of Miz and Mrs. entitled Driving Miz Crazy. A fun episode, a lot of frustration being felt here by Miz specifically, but a fun episode overall, as always. And thank you guys, as always, for checking out the video. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. We'll be back tomorrow, I believe. I'm going to an Evolve show tomorrow night, but I should be around to record a review of SmackDown from tonight, where Goldberg's going to be on the show, the all-new Universal Champion. I spoke all about that on Wrestle Rant Radio in an excerpt that went here on the channel late last night, so check that out. John Cena will be on the show, so I'm trying to record a review of SmackDown before I take off for the Evolve show in the afternoon with Alexis. And then Sunday, which I have yet to watch, which I'm hoping to later on today after I record this and put it up, watch the WWE 24 on R-Truth, which I heard from a few people was pretty good. So looking forward to watching that. My review of that should be up on Sunday. Monday, my review of the latest episode of the Ruthless Aggression Show. Then on Tuesday, which was supposed to go up this past week, Alexis and I are reviewing the WWE ice cream bars. So nonetheless, guys, a lot to look forward to. I know Super Showdown was not exactly everyone's cup of tea, but hopefully tonight's SmackDown and coming events, and including AEW Revolution tomorrow, which I'm super looking forward to. Unfortunately, I will not be able to watch live because I'll be at said Evolve show, but I will be watching, I think, first thing on Sunday morning, hopefully. But nonetheless, guys, have a great rest of your weekend. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.